Your guilty pleasure.
My guilty pleasure. All right, you tell me that one, and then I'll try to think of
My guilty pleasure is I love watching food shows.
That's, yeah.
And not the competitive food shows.
Right.
I just like the food shows where they show people eating and cooking, and
Right.
Or they have a chef spending a half hour chopping and dicing and preparing something. That's my guilty pleasure.
That's good, and I guess for me it would probably be watching HGTV. Karen and I do a lot of that, and you know what? I like it. There's some great shows. I don't mind the competition shows, but sometimes just seeing someone tackle a project, a remodel project, I like that. It's good.
I despise it.
I know you do.
I despise it.
That's where we differ a little.
A movie that you can watch over and over.
Oh gosh.
Let's say you turn on the TV and the movie pops up, and you say, "I'm just going to sit down and keep watching this."
Yeah. Gosh, I guess I'm going to go really old school here. I still am a sucker for Casablanca if it comes on.
Really?
Yeah, I know that's really, really ancient. And Raiders of the Lost Ark. Let's go with that. A little more contemporary. That's still many, many years ago. But yeah, Raiders for our audience, I guess, makes more sense. I can't stop watching that if it comes on.
The Hunt for Red October.
That's yours? Yeah.
Wherever it is in the movie.
Okay.
I'll sit down and watch the rest of it. It's fabulous.
Right. This is
I
good.
was a Tom Clancy fan.
Okay.
If you didn't live in Seattle, where would you live?
That's a good question. I guess for me, it would be, if it's a city, it's probably San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And then if it was a more remote location, probably Cannon Beach, Oregon. I just love everything that goes on down there. It's kind of remote. There's not a lot to do, but I just love the scenery and everything. Anyway, there's my two, I guess.
I love the Twin Cities.
Yeah.
I hated it when we left, and I'd probably still like the DC area, although it's way too crowded.
Yeah.
Only because of family and friends.
Right.
So, final question: if you didn't work in TV news, what would you have done for a job?
Boy, that's really good. I mean, I could say something like get into film industry or something, but again, that kind of is related to what I ended up doing, so that might be a bit of a cop-out answer, but I guess somehow if I could have been in the movies, I would have loved that. Yeah, I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I followed my passion, Denny. Yeah.
I originally wanted to be a cop.
Really?
And actually did a couple of ride-arounds with DC Police. Wow. One 10-hour shift and one 4-hour shift. But as I look back, I'm glad I wasn't a cop.
Right.
I'm pretty cynical now. I would have really been cynical then.
Right. You know, this is a good way to wrap this up because it makes you get a little philosophical. I've thought about this a little bit because other industries certainly pay more money than broadcasting. But like I just mentioned, I followed my passion, and I've always felt like I was lucky to make a living doing something I love. I guess another thought might have been education. I think I could have been a good teacher, and if I'd done that, I know I would have been a coach as well because of my love for sports. So I have thought about that sometimes. What would that journey have been like to be around high school kids maybe and coach sports? That's just one thought that comes to mind, I guess.
My late father-in-law owned an insurance company in Fargo. Maybe I would have gone into that.
Right.
Maybe I would have owned the business in the long run. Maybe I'd have never been in Seattle. I'd have been in Fargo for the rest of my life.
Right.
Who knows?
That's the part about that when you think back, isn't it? Yeah. Because we all have those crossroads in our life.
Exactly. So those are all what-if questions, which are really hard to answer sometimes, and sometimes you really shouldn't even ask them.
No, because you can only live in the moment. That's what I always say. You make your choices based on what you know at the time.
So that we ought to just stop.
We should. Let's stop. Let's make a choice now to call it good.